Hey everyone, it's Megan. In this video, I'm going to be drawing a character Mercy from my favorite video game, Overwatch. I didn't actually record the sketching process of this video, so we'll just jump right in with the coloring. I used a purple color erase colored pencil to sketch it, and I'm using Copic Markers for coloring it. Copic Markers are an alcohol-based marker that blend really well, and you can layer lots of colors on top of each other, for those who didn't know. They're my favorite thing to use, and it's been a while since I've done a traditional piece like this. I've been focusing a lot on digital art lately, so I didn't realize that some of my gray markers were actually dried up a little bit, so you can't really tell in the video, but I was struggling to get the lighter grays to work. It all worked out though, I just need to get them replaced. The horns in this piece were my favorite part to render, just because, I don't know, I really like this skin in the game. And I know that my depiction of her isn't 100% accurate, because it's pretty exaggerated with the longer tongue and her hair's longer in the piece. And also the colors are a little off in certain places because I didn't use a reference photo when I was coloring it. I just lightly referenced it when I was sketching it and just went crazy with it. Just went all in and started coloring what I thought it looked like, and it doesn't really matter because it's just like a quick sketch more than anything. It's not really a super finished piece, but I still had a lot of fun doing it. Copic markers are, I think, a lot of people's favorite thing to use right now. I see a lot of people using them on like YouTube and Instagram, and that's really what got me started. Was I wanted to be a comic artist, or like a comic book artist, so I drew a lot of comic fan art, and I would use these Copic markers to draw them. And I still like comics, don't get me wrong, but I'm starting to take my art in a separate direction, but these are good for any kind of art, really. Here I am going in with the Spectrum Noir Illustrator marker, which is the cheaper version of a Copic. And it works just fine. It blends really well with the other markers, and there's a lot of ink in it. I only have a couple complaints about it, and one of them is that the packaging feels a little cheap, like the actual marker, the plastic part. I don't know. Of course it's not going to be super high quality because it was very noticeably cheaper. I'd say, I don't know how much they are individually since I got them in a pack of 6, but they are very much cheaper than the Copic markers. And another complaint I have about the Spectrum Noir markers is the nib on the marker. It started to deteriorate really quickly whenever I started using a blue one later on, which you'll see in the video. Other than that, like, I think they're worth it if you want to try out something cheap before you go on and buy the really expensive Copics. There are other alcohol markers you can get too that are cheaper than Copics. Like Prismacolor has some brush pens, and they're not that much cheaper, but they are if you just want to buy like a couple. I think like Michael sells them in open stock. You can get them online, just look around. You'll find, I think there's a lot more brands of alcohol markers coming out now that they are getting more popular. And so I'm always on the lookout for these things because they're really fun to use. One thing I would be wary of though is don't get the ones that don't have the brush tip, because the brush tip is really what's good about these markers, is they have a brush tip that you can get varied lines and blend it well, which it's okay if you have the other ones, because I do have some of the ones that only have the chisel tip and like the little pointy nib instead of the brush. But the brush is what makes it appealing to me, in my opinion. I did a close-up shot of here so you can see the details I'm putting into her face and her hair. I'm not very good at this whole YouTube, video making thing yet, so bear with me. I know it's probably super, unprofessional, doesn't look very good, but I'll get better as I learn. Here I am with my Pentel Pocket brush pen, which is my favorite thing to use when it comes to inking. I've had this one for a couple years now, and I use it on seriously almost every traditional piece that I use. I think I use it on everything, and it is the best, my favorite thing to use, honestly. Like, you don't need to use a whole bunch of different kinds of pens. And if you like super, super fine lines, then this probably isn't for you, because it can get skinny lines, but it's more about like line variation, and I don't know, it's my favorite thing to use, and I know that it's really popular amongst a lot of artists. That's how I discovered it, was I saw people on Instagram and YouTube recommending it, so I just went in and bought one. I've gone through 2 of them so far, but they last a really long time. The only reason I got rid of my first one is because it's like a frayed brush pen, like bristles. It's not like a spongy type of brush like the Copic Markers. And I kind of messed that up, but they do last a long time if you take care of it really well. And you can replace the ink cartridges with just like regular ink from a pot if you have like a syringe. And I know I need to do that to save money and help with the environment and all that. So I'll probably get around to that in a future video or something. Here's that other Spectrum Noir marker I was talking about earlier when I was coloring this background, which is kind of an odd looking background, I'll admit, but I just wanted to create less negative space. Kind of tried to give it like a flamey type look, because she's supposed to be like a devil. But yeah, the marker nib didn't last very long, but it's still usable. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will try and get better at this whole narrating thing, because I know I'm not the best at it right now, but I just have to get comfortable with public speaking and whatnot. Here I'm using jelly roll pens to give a little detail to her hair, and I'm going to go in with a white one to add some detail to her eye and horns to make it look shiny and pretty. So yeah, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe this video, or to my channel. Thank you so much. Goodbye.